All right, and moving on from the recent elections in the United States to the ongoing polls in India's Bihar, the biggest challenge for all those vying for people's mandate remains judging the voters' mood. So, what does the voter want? Well, if recent trends are anything to go by, voters are more alert to their needs than ever before. Things that matter to their everyday lives carry stronger resonance with the voters. Well, after the Republican Party suffered losses in this week's elections in the US, President Donald Trump blamed it on the ongoing government shutdown. While Trump quoted unspecified pollsters for his assessment, the results seemed to back his claim. While the two Democratic governors elected in New Jersey and Virginia had focused on the rising cost of living, Zohran Mamdani's New York mayoral campaign victory was built on a promise of housing access. While the cost of living remains high, and Trump's use of tariffs as a tool of diplomacy has also not helped. Miles away, the ongoing assembly elections of Bihar tell a similar story. Known for its caste-based equations and politics of social engineering, the main issue in the run-up to this year's elections has been unemployment. The manifesto by both ruling NDA includes a pledge to create 1 crore government jobs and employment opportunities. The opposition alliance has gone a step further. It promises to usher in a law within the first 20 days of the government formation that will guarantee a government job for every household. While the results are yet to come, now they show that parties are banking on aspirations of people. It also shows that, be it New York or Bihar, people believe that government's job is to help the people. For today's voters, affordability overrides rhetoric. All right, and for more on this, we're being joined by Mr. R.K. Upadhyay. He's a senior journalist. We also have with us Aditi Fadnis. She's a senior journalist and contributing editor, Business Standard. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us on the broadcast. Well, from battleground states in the US to the grind of Bihar's polls, one theme that's emerged is voters voting for what's immediately in their self-interest. And that's what I want to unpack with the both of you today on the show. Now, Mr. Upadhyay, let me come to you first. Are we seeing a real shift here, voters prioritizing immediate self-interest over, let's say, long-term ideology? And if yes, what's driving this voters' calculation here? What's changing this calculation that they're operating upon?
Well, I think, what has started with the Aam Aadmi Party in India, which I think about a decade ago, they started with this offering freebies, giving women free ride on the buses and, free electricity and so on and so forth. That has now spiraled into, some kind of a nationwide, freebies for people across the country in various elections. That we are seeing, in US as well. Now, what Mamdani has done is exactly what was being offered in India by the political parties. I mean, he has promised them subsidized, accommodation and free ride within the city and so on and so forth. And it all resonates with the people because, there are lots of deprived people who have been deprived of a lot of things. And as we all know, New York is one of the costliest cities in the world. And naturally, these kind of offers will definitely resonate with the people. But then you have to look at the costs as well. I mean, at what cost it is coming. I mean, that is also a major issue which nobody seems to be bothered about at the moment.
Absolutely, Mr. Upadhyay. Now, Ms. Fadnis, let me come to you and just try to look at it from a different perspective. Could this look like that voters are responding to better messaging and delivery and not perhaps immediate self-interest per se? And therefore, it's perhaps the parties that need to catch up and not the voters changing their calculations?
Well, it's not the here and now that matters to the voters. Of course, that does too. But it's also what happens in the future. So they are not in this day of social media, they can see where they can be and they can see where they are now. So I think selling dreams is a very, very important part of participating in an election. You may not be able to actuate the entire dream that you are offering, but selling a dream is very important because it creates aspiration, it creates hope, and it basically creates a discourse in society, which is very important to take the whole democratic process forward.
Right, Ms. Furness, and we're of course going to circle back to it. But also, we know that now, be it Bihar or the US, politicians are selling big promises, as we've just mentioned, and rhetoric has come to play a very important role in it. Now, Mr. Upadhyay, do you agree to that? That increasingly political success is somehow depending more on persuasive rhetoric and the packaging and polish of it all rather than actually delivering on the promises that were made?
Yes, I think it's becoming some kind of a downside of the politics, because everybody seems to be competing with each other. Especially in India, if you see now, the political parties are going overboard with the kind of promises they are making. Bihar is now the latest example where the RJD came up with one government job per family, and then the BJP said we will provide 1 crore jobs, not necessarily government jobs, and various other the offers were being made. I mean, my point is, where is the money going to come from for all this? So unless you can tell the people as to where the money is going to come from, and whether it will affect the economy in a big way or not, I think it should not be allowed. This issue was brought up before the Supreme Court of India, and there were a few hearings that happened. I don't think there has been a finality. The Supreme Court, I feel, should put the onus on the political parties and the candidates concerned, before making the promises. Now they have to show where the money is going to come from. I think the onus should be put on the political parties because they are the beneficiaries. You're making these offers and then you're winning the elections. So you better pay up. Don't take it from the public exchequer. I think there has to be a line that has to be drawn, and I hope the Supreme Court comes up with proper guidelines on these issues. Otherwise, it's really spiraling out of control, and this will derail the economy. This will completely derail the economy because we see in Karnataka. I live in Karnataka, in Bangalore, and I'm seeing the kind of impact it has on the infrastructure, on the development. There is no money. The government has no money for even small things like repairing the roads and cleaning the debris in the roads. I mean, they just said, look, we are spending money on the freebies. I know 58,000 crores is going every year on the freebies, 5 freebies that the Karnataka government has promised, and they have no money for anything else. And this is a disastrous kind of situation. I think some kind of a break has to come from somewhere, and it has to come from the Supreme Court, because I don't think the political parties themselves will, rein themselves in. I don't think that will happen.
Right, Mr. Upadhyay, you've raised some very valid points there, and you've rightly pointed out that the polishing and the packaging of it all will cost money, and how that money is allocated is, of course, at the heart of the conversation. But now, let me come to you, Ms. Furness, and understand, where do you stand on it? Still cynical about the polish, or, of course, there is still room for cautious optimism about the rhetoric ultimately leading to some tangible action?
And it may not be the entire amount of the tangible action, but definitely there is tangible action. And rhetoric just helps people to understand what they could reach out to, what they could become. The means to achieve the rhetoric are the responsibility of the government. So, and it's not only the responsibility of the government. I do not agree that freebies are freebies. I think they're a very important aid in spurring consumer spending, which in turn leads to a productive employment of resources, which leads to further growth. So, the definition of a freebie is something you just give away and you don't get anything back in return. I don't think that is the case. Every woman who gets the 10,000 rupees that Bihar is offering, for instance, uh, rechannelizes that money either in educating her child or in supplementing household income, and therefore improving the overall health of the household, or in her own small business. If she has a tea stall, she offers biscuits in that tea stall. We've seen this in Maharashtra. We've seen this in even in Karnataka, where the free travel for women has spurred a lot of entrepreneurship and a lot of um hope. So I'm
Right.
not saying that rhetoric should not be part of it. It is, but once you achieve even a part of the rhetoric that you're offering, it does help people to see their future in a different way.
Absolutely, Ms. Fadnavis. And thank you so much, Ms. Fadnavis and Mr. Upadhyay, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your valuable perspective with us.